I'm back with another review. I brought another TIE Fighter to you. I'm going to try to do all the TIE Fighters, as I've said. Today I've got the Elite 181st TIE Interceptor. Those of you who read the Rogue Squadron novels and comic books should know about this guy. A brief history of the Interceptor before I start. It was released in Episode 6, The Battle of Endor, the last one. If you read the backstory on it, when the Empire lost the Battle of Yavin, they're like, this X-Wing's really good. We need to make something better than the TIE Fighter. They focused on making a more maneuverable fighter with better visual and sight. What they came up with is a more maneuverable TIE Interceptor with two more laser guns. It's more of a match for the A-Wing than it was the X-Wing when the Rebels came out with the A-Wing, because it focuses on maneuverability, not like heavy shields and heavy weapons. But it's a definite improvement over the TIE Fighter. This toy I have here, it was released two other times, I've found, in Hasbro, well, in this mold. Kenner released it when Episode 6 came out. They had the kind of the off bluish thing with a handle in the back for the controls. I'm not sure if Kenner had the laser sounds the older TIE Fighter had or not. I couldn't find evidence if they did or didn't. And again, when Hasbro bought out Kenner, they released it again in the Power of the Jedi line. Again, it was blue. It wasn't really like the movie, and they had that silly handle in the back. Of course, when the 30th anniversary came out, they resculpted the back. This was the first release of the new TIE Fighter. They released this, of course, based off the 181st and the Rogue Squadron novels. Rumor had it online that this was going to be piloted by Baron Fell. But it wasn't. He came out in the comic pack instead. Actually, that figure doesn't even fit in this thing. I do have the 181st pilot here. There are, of course, 11 of these and Baron Fell out there. I'd like to see that someone actually assembles an entire 181st. If you've got the 12 of these, please put them online. I'd like to see it. But I only have one. This guy is very heavily based off the OTC TIE pilot, but there is some variances. I have the OTC pilot here. We can look at them side by side. For one, the color. The 181st has an elite silver on the vest and the belt, and the 181st stripe down their leg. There's also a mistaken conception online that they're exactly the same figure. They aren't. If you notice, the regular pilot has his legs slightly spread apart. The 181st looks like he's standing at attention more. Their legs are just slightly different. Their bodies and everything in the mold is almost identical. By the way, the TIE Fighter pilot is my favorite Imperial, by far. And the 181st guy is my favorite TIE Fighter pilot, so I have high esteem for this guy. We're going to look over some of the features of the TIE Fighter here. It's got pop-off wings. I don't want to damage these things. They pop, just like the regular TIE. You can remove them. When I first got this, these things looked to me like they're daggers, or some kind of weapon. They're really, really cool looking wings, and they have, of course, the 181st TIE Fighter stripe on them, signifying they're with that squadron. The ball is heavily based off the TIE Fighters I showed you earlier. It's basically the 30th with a different paint scheme on the interior and the exterior. Can we get a good look at those controls inside? Alright, the other TIE Fighter ball also just has the same paint scheme for the chair. This chair has a different color paint scheme as well. And of course, being with the 181st, he's got all the rebels he's killed, marked on his TIE Fighter. I like that. Of course, if you get more than one of these, you might want to change that yourself. If you're a painter, you might want to take some off, put some on, add some variances there. And of course, they added the diamond to the back. It's no longer like that old TIE Fighter with that annoying handle for the controls that they no longer have. The lasers are just for looks here. There's supposed to be two lasers. If you played X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, or X-Wing, or TIE Fighter, or Battlefront 2, or any game with the TIE Interceptor in it, you know it has four lasers. Two are on the wing, two are on the cockpit. As I said, this has two more lasers than the regular TIE Fighter has. This was a Toys R Us exclusive in the 30th anniversary. The box is really awesome. For me, in Alaska, this was $35. And I could kick myself, I'm still kicking myself up to now. For a while, Toys R Us had, you buy any two items, you get one for free on there. They actually had it when I got this. They had a bunch of TIE Interceptors, and I think I got like Han Solo and a Death Star Trooper. I mean, I'm still kicking myself today. The price of this on eBay has gone up a lot. I could have had one I opened to show you and just to display it with my other stuff. One all minty to point at sword, and one to sell on eBay to pay for the other two. But I got one, and two crowdy action figures. But I'm going to redo what that says on the back. The elite TIE Interceptor starfighter slices through space at blinding speed with its dagger-like wings and ultra-sleek design. Under the command of Baron Fell, the pilots of the 181st Imperial Fighter Group fly these fast, deadly fighters on the side of the Empire during the Battle of Endor. Too bad Lucas didn't put that in the remake either. The red stripes of on the 181st Elite TIE Interceptor are badges of honor, indicating that the pilot has destroyed 10 or more enemy vessels. Each pilot's uniform also displays the red stripes, crediting him for the victories in battle. You know, I have all the TIE fighters they make, and except with the exception of the TIE Defender, which they don't make in this size, you know, they just have a titanium model. And for the coolness factor, this has to be the coolest. You know, I know part of it's a slight remake of the regular TIE Fighter, but for the coolness factor, this is it. Also, if you like Timothy Zahn's novels and Stockpole's novels of Rogue Squadron, and, you know, you can link them to these. I am going to do a review on Baron Fell later. He does come with a 30th anniversary comic pack. Although I love this figure, he's probably my favorite Imperial of all. I'm really disappointed with his counterpart, Baron Fell. Baron Fell doesn't even fit in the cockpit. And if you know anything about TIE fighters, they have no atmosphere. And Baron Fell also doesn't come with gloves, which is sad because the Rebel pilot he has with him does come with gloves. This TIE fighter gets, you know, I can't really find flaws with this one. The one flaw might be the wings are removable, and it looks just slightly, well, like I'm not going to say floppy, it doesn't look floppy, but you might be able to tell just barely that the wings come off on this. I really can't find any flaws. I want to give this thing a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10, considering the price was $35, and the larger scale wing TIE fighter, which is very not as good in my design, in my opinion, was 45. So, you know, for price and everything, I would give this a 10. You could make it better. Maybe you could make it with the active lights and everything, but the cost would go up. The only thing I'm still kicking myself about is not getting 3 of these. So that says a lot. This gets a perfect 10. This is Supreme with another TIE Fighter review. Stay tuned. I'm going to try to get the TIE Bomber to you next week, okay? But until then, keep reading those Rogue Squadron books and long live the Empire.